It is a season of data analysis with Google Sheets. Hundreds of participants around the globe are learning Google Sheets by gathering data, drawing inferences, and making data-driven decisions. In Module 1, while trying to solve prime tech academic customer satisfaction problems, data from the company's clients all over the world was collected using Google Form. This data was then synced to Google Sheets, which was then cleaned and analyzed to answer critical business questions in order to solve the problem of the day. Join us in Module 2 for another practical session to solve real-life business questions using formulas and functions like if, SUMIFS, VLOOKUP, SUMPRODUCT, TRIM, UNIQUE, index and match, among others. These functions will help us dissect and bring out useful information that will help solve the problem and provide quality suggestions backed by data. If you have not seen Module 1, make sure you do so right away. Module 2 promises to be mind-blowing because it will expose you to a whole new world of data analysis. Hi, I'm Binga Uibaju. See you in class. Good morning once again, and welcome to all our participants all over the world. We are glad you are part of us this morning, learning together how to make sense of Google Sheets and do wonderful things. Thank you to those that were with us last week, and welcome if you are just joining us. And I'm thanking you in anticipation for the Module 3. With more and more businesses focusing on making decisions by understanding their data, the use of Google Sheets has increased enormously. Have you gotten stuck trying to format a heavy data to make decisions? Or are you wondering what exactly are the Google Sheets formulas and functions you need to implement on your data to make it crisp and understandable? For becoming a pro in the world of Google Sheets, you really need to know the backbone and the basic formulas and functions before you jump into it. If you are a beginner, or you are an intermediate user of Excel or spreadsheets, or you are even an advanced user, this is the right place for you to be to learn the functionalities of Google Sheets, functions, and formula. Today, we will concentrate on Google Sheets functions and formulas to analyze and to demystify our data. At any point, if you have a question, kindly use the chat room. Thank you for joining us once again. So we go in straight away. Welcome again to Google Sheets Masterclass Module 2. This is a practical step-by-step training on data analysis with Google Sheets for both Excel and non-Excel users. Today, what we'll be doing is introduction to formulas and functions. Google Sheets supports cell formulas typically found in most desktop spreadsheet packages. Functions can also be used to create formulas that manipulate data and calculate strings and numbers. Strings, that has to do with letters, while numbers are digits. I remain my humble self, Binga Uibaju. Thank you for believing in me to take you through this ride. I'm a certified Google data analyst, and together we will have a nice time. All right, as usual, as we did the last time, if you have your other gadgets, you can quickly log into slido.com and join via this meeting code 891 624. This gives you a level playing ground to participate and see your participation throughout this training. So if you were with us last week, you know what to do. But if you are just joining us this week, just use another browser or something, go into slido.com. You will be asked for a meeting code. So put in 891624 and you'll be inside the Slido platform where we'll be having one-on-one together. So while you do that, let's go ahead. What are our expectations today? They are Google AI Explore and quick analysis. Also, we'll talk about absolute and relative cell references and data validation options. We will be working with summary statistics, that is sum, median, mode, and all of that. Also, we will talk about functions for analyzing data. And also, we will solve real business questions with formulas and functions. All right, before you go into what we have today, I want to give a quick feedback on our Project 1 assignment. Some of us really participated in that and we did awesomely well. And I'm going to be sharing some of your feedback and what we need to do moving from here. All right, feedback from Project 1. You know, someone said, I used my tablet for the assignment as I do not have laptop or desktop available. That's why I couldn't select country and rating while inserting the chart for it. Okay. Someone said, please, more explanation on the formula for calculating average. Is this sum of data and some of the data are not adding up? Someone said it was challenging but interesting. I understand what you wanted us, that you wanted us to learn how to generate Google Forms. We have learned. Please, I like that. I suggest that we use secondary data in subsequent projects, as I found it quite challenging obtaining primary data. Thank you for the feedback. Someone said, I didn't understand what you meant by countries branch. Okay. My data is not up to 50 respondents. What do I do? All right. It was thrilling working on this project as a beginner. I look forward to improve and do bigger tasks. Good job, you. It was an interesting assignment. I totally enjoyed engaging in this assignment. It was enlightening. Awesome. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I remain grateful. Thank you, too. I just read that the survey has to capture tech-related data. Mine is a bit different. Kindly forgive. Your sins are forgiven already. Getting response from clients was tasking. Not as much. For the next lesson, you could show us how to navigate around Samsung tablets as we follow through with tablets. Okay. And the last one I have here says, thank you for this opportunity to learn. Awesome. I've taken all your feedback and I'm going to implement it greatly. So these are my own feedback to your feedback. So if you can see my screen, let me make it a little bigger. Something like this. Okay. All right, my feedback is this. That you are going to change your sharing option to anyone with the link can comment. Okay. What we did was to share with anyone with the link can view. And because of that, that was my instruction anyway, and I couldn't give instant feedback on your sheets. because I could only view. But now I will join you after today's training. You change your link to your sharing link to anyone with the link can comment. I will show you how to do that right away. So this is what you do. You go to the green tab at the top right corner where I'm pointing to. At the moment, what we have is anyone with the link. Anyone who has this link, no access, something. So click the green tab. Then you have this option comes up. What is it that you can see here? You can either add people's email, anyone you want to participate on this sheet. But because we cannot be adding everybody's mail, so what you do is come here where you have this get link. What is this at the moment? I have anyone on the internet with this link can view. So you are going to click on change. I'm talking about your assignment now. You click on change and you can see viewer here. You're going to click on the drop down arrow and change it to commenter. So this means anyone on the internet with this link can comment. So your project 1, kindly do that. Change from view to comment. So I'll put instant comment on your analysis sheets. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay, so when you have done that, you just click on done. What have I done? If I share this with anyone, that person will be able to put comments on it. So that's my feedback 1. Feedback 2, your responses should be a minimum of 50. And I know that some of us are struggling to get respondents, but you know what? I have said now that you can auto-generate on your own, and it's only via the form. So keep on filling the form on your own, just using any data. You might just make it up, because we will need more data to do our subsequent work. So if you don't see respondents from anywhere, be the respondent. But make sure don't type on the Google Sheet, respond via the Google form. And also, I'm impressed by the effort, creativity, and zeal to learn and implement some new concepts. In response to what one person said, we may use a secondary data in subsequent projects, but we need to conclude on this. Some people shared the form with me and not their Google Sheets. This is incorrect. In all, let's go back and complete this task correctly. And I'm going to show you what that means. These are the feedback. I've hidden the names of some people that have responded to the project 1. And if you see here, the link I asked you to put on the form, some people actually put the form link. So if I click that link, I'm seeing your form. And don't forget, I was the one that shared your form with you. It's like sharing my form back to me. Please, I need you to share the link to the analysis sheets like this person. And okay, let me conclude on this. We need to complete 3 projects and present them to qualify for the certificate. We have done project 1. We'll do the second one today, and the third one we will do next week. And we'll do our graduation ceremony. Can we make this happen? Yes, we can. I have opened some of our response. You can see I can only view. I wanted to make some comments. I couldn't. I'm so sorry. I said you should put on view, but now just change the link, and that's the only thing. I will automatically be able to put some comments, and that comment you will see immediately in your mail that someone has commented, then you can now respond to it. I will give some corrections and all of that. Now, this is wonderful. This person has done pretty well, did some analysis here and showed us the countries that are doing greatly well. This person has done pretty well in implementing what it is required to do. Good job, you, whoever this person is. And this is another person too. You guys are amazing. I have the overall rating here. All the calculations are popping up correctly. Well done, well done, well done. This is one more from another person. I'm intentionally not sharing the names, and if you can identify your own, then you know that I'm referring to you. But all I need you to do after today is change the sharing option to anyone with the link can edit. So thank you very much for that. Now let's move on. So if you joined via Slido, you should see the function of active poll. So quickly answer the question if you're on slido.com. What's one concept that captivates you while solving project 1? What is one thing that you appreciate while doing that? Okay, someone says the formula. Keep it coming, keep it coming. If you have not joined, you can just on your browser just do slido.com, then put in the meeting code, the graphical representation, awesome. Using the COUNTIF and average formula, beautiful, beautiful. The analysis. Okay, we have 4 persons responding, and if I'm able to join the Slido platform, you can put your response in the chat room and I will see them. The analysis using the formulas. Oh, so many people are talking about the analysis. Awesome. So you are able to make sense of your data. Someone says, I appreciate that the formulas differ when using the mobile version of the app. Okay. The analysis, but I wish it could be done on tab too. Okay. Ability to generate data using Google Form. Beautiful, beautiful. Keep it coming. So most of us appreciate the analysis and the graphical representation part. Awesome. Okay, the whole concept of analyzing data. All right. Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. Let's continue. Now, getting started with Google Sheets, functions, and formula. Last week, we generated some data using our Google form. While we're having this training, a number of us submitted responses via the form that I shared, and this gave us this. And from there, we created a tab and we linked that response to that new tab. Remember, I said it is not good to work on the form response sheet. Rather, create a new one and use the array formula function to bring the data into a new spreadsheet. We did that. I want to hide this type. I can click the arrow here and click hide to hide that. Okay, from there, we did the analysis and I was amazed at what some of us did. We really captivated it and we did pretty well. We answered some business questions and we regenerated all of this. Okay, one last thing I want you to learn is this graphical representation. Some of us are able to do that, but for this part, I have used another kind of chart called scorecard. Scorecard. So all you just need to do is highlight your, let me do scorecard again. Highlight your data. Scorecard is good for a situation when you have only one data to present. For this overall average set rating, which is 3.5, I can highlight the portion and go to insert chart. It brings out this for you, but you can always change it when you come to this column chart, something, click the drop down arrow, scroll down. You will see this. It is called scorecard chart. So just click it and you have the scorecard. So you can now set it up. The setup is here, scorecard chart, this and this. You go to customize, chart style, can give it a border, can give you the background color if you wish, like I'm doing now. Then the key value, the color of this, you can change to whatever you want, and any editing you want to do on it. So if I go back to setup, I have this on. That's the way I just did my own. So you can do other analysis or other formatting you want to do. So always use scorecard to present a one result data. It makes a whole lot of sense. So today we want to talk about some formulas to do some pretty work also on this data. I have done a summary tab, and please carefully flow with me, because this is the same thing or something similar that you will implement in your project too. So in that your same Google Sheet, create a new tab and name it summary. And this is what we will be doing in the summary tab. Number one, we will use data validation to pull all the countries in a cell. Then with the reference to the data validation, we will do all of this. You will see how to do that in a minute. Now, I mentioned data validation. What is data validation? Data validation is just a concept of restricting your input to a particular set that you have defined. I am going to do that here. Okay. Before we go to how to run our assessment, let's learn all these formulas on this tab. On this My Data tab, I have listed some of the formulas we will be using today, which are if, sort, filter, array formula unique, COUNTIFS, SUMIFS, AVERAGEIFS, COUNTUNIQUE, sum, average, divide, percentage, trim, SUMPRODUCT, VLOOKUP, CONCATENATE, split, import, range. I'll show you sharply how to use all of these functions and how to use them to do the summary that you will be doing, that I'm going to put you through. That's the best way to learn functions and formula, by doing it yourself. All right, I have put each of these functions in a single column here. I'll be starting with the if function. How does if function work? This is the number one function all analysts in the world must know how to use. If, let me give a simple explanation of what it does. The if function says if a certain criteria is met, do this. Otherwise, do something else. So you are going to give a criteria, and that criteria is met, we'll tell this function to do a particular thing. And if the criteria is not met, we must tell it to do something different. Now let's see how that works. I'm going to click my cell O2, type my equal to start any formula and functions is equal to, and I'm going to type if. You can see that it brings out everything that has if for me. So if, and I type in my open bracket, if function has 3 arguments. The first one is logical expression, the next one is value if true, and the other one is value if false. See the way it has given us a clue on how this function works. Logical expression first. Now, what's the logical expression I want to give? In my head, I have some ratings that are being given here on this column H. Now, I want to say if anybody gives rating greater than 3.5, then I want to say yes. And if it is less than 3.5, I want to say no. That's my logical expression. So how do I go about it? I've opened the bracket, then I will now say if I'll click this first cell, which is H2, under my rating. So I'll say if H2, I'm going back to the formula tab. This is my logical expression. How does the formula know I'm done with that? I'll put a comma. Can you see that? When I put a comma, it jumps to the next. But I'm not done. What I want to do with H2 is if H2 is greater than 3.5. 3.5. That's my logical expression. So what should happen if this is true? So I put an equal to, it jumps to the value if true. So I put a yes. If you are typing text in formulas, the text must be in quotation marks. Don't forget that at any point in time. When I type 3.5, which is a number, I did not put a quotation mark. Anytime you are typing text in formulas, functions, you put a quotation mark. Then that is what I want if it is true. Then you put a comma, and when you put another comma, it jumps to the next and final argument. So if that cell is not greater than 3.5, what should I put there? I want to put a no. Also in quotation mark. Then close my bracket. I'm done with that formula. I click on enter. And as you can see, I have a yes here. Let me centralize everything here. I have a yes here. That's how simple if function is. Your logical expression, what should it return when it is true, comma, what should it return when it is false? So obviously, this is greater than 3.5, and that's why it is yes. I can drag this formula down to see for all of that. Don't forget, if I drag this formula down, it was H2 here, the next one will become H3, H4, and it goes on and on like that. So let me do that. come to the bottom right corner of that cell, and when it changes to cross sign, drag it down. I want to drag it up to the last place where I have the data. Poof, we have everything sorted. All the ones with yes, all the ones greater than 3.5 are showing yes. All the ones less than that are showing no. That's how if function works. Now, I want to do something again. Because I may have a large data and I just want to have a straight look at my data. I want to use conditional formatting. I will show you what that means. That if there is a yes in this column, it should highlight it with a green color. Conditional formatting. I want to do it on this cell. So what does that mean? There's this format option here. If I click it, if you scroll down, I'll see conditional formatting. Now it has opened up the conditional formatting tab on this side. So I want to apply my formatting to from O2 to what is it? O29. So I'm going to put colon O29. What do I want to do? I want to automatically, it has chosen if any of this cell is empty, do this formatting, but I want to change it to, we can do a whole sort of conditional formatting, but we might not be able to go to all the details today. We'll do that in subsequent time. I'll go to custom formula. If I click it, it says value of function. So here I will say if okay, I may not even put a function. I will say if my text contains, yes, this is straightforward. Yes, good. I'll just choose from all these options. If my text contains yes, put this color. I can change this color to anything, maybe to yellow. Fine, and that will be fine. And that's all about conditional formatting. So if there is a yes in this column that I highlighted, color it a yellow color. Then I'll click done. And that's all about conditional formatting. I just branched there. You can play with it and see how it works. That is that about if function. Now the next function we'll talk about is called sort. Sort function. As the name sounds, it sorts your data the way you want it to work. Now let's see how that works. Equal to, type your sort, your comma. Now sort has quite a number of arguments. Range. Which range of cells do you want to sort? Okay, let me sort range F to I. From F2 here to I here. And I just highlight that. It can be anything. This is an example. Then I will do I will hold Control and Shift, then down arrow to select everything in that range. Okay, this is the range I want to sort. It could be any range. So that's my range. Then I put a comma for it to go to the next argument. The next argument is good. You have highlighted your range. Which column do you want to sort by? You can see that I have highlighted. If I click this arrow, it gives example of how the functions works. So that's another good thing about Google Sheets. So you can see sort, the range you want to sort, column you want to sort by. True means you want to sort in ascending order. False means you want to sort in descending order. Okay, so the next argument, by what column? I have highlighted four columns, column F, G, H, and I. So F being the first, G second, H third, I fourth. So I want to highlight by, let's say column G. I want to sort by column G or H. Let me do H so that the rating with the lowest will come up. So H is on 1, 2, 3, or is on the third column of my range. So I put 3 there. Then I put another comma. If I click the question mark, I see this. Do I want it in ascending? I will say true if I want ascending order. If I want descending order, I'll put a false. And let's see what happens. Let me close my bracket. Always close your bracket and click enter. Now look at what has happened. It has pulled all the data from there, put it here. You know, I said 4 columns and arrange them according to the ratings from the smallest to the biggest. Look at how one formula gave me a range of response. So you might want to drill down on something in your data, use sort to arrange and quickly see, oh, which product gave me the least rating. You can see it exactly is the general school. If I widen up this, I will see it's the general school sort. So that's how sorting works. I might want to change this formula to false. Let's see what happens. Enter. It has rearranged it and sorted based on my third column and arrange it in ascending order. And now from the greatest to the least. So here I can see at a glance the people that gave me the highest rating. And that's how sort works. Let's go to the next, which is filter. Filter is somewhat related to sort. Let's see how that works. Exactly what the name says. Filter. It filters your data based on the condition that you give it. So bracket open, filter, equal to filter bracket open. This is asking for a range too. I might want to use the same range or any other range. Okay, let me just highlight range, just this 3 range, this 3 column range, 4 column range. So E2 to H30 is my range. So what's the next argument? So it's asking me, what condition do you want to filter by? Here, I will then define my condition. Now, I have highlighted or selected range E2 to H30, but I want to filter it by another column. That is the column of those that says yes here. So I want to see those whose the values of those that said yes here. So I want to filter by this column of if function. So what do? I will say the condition is put the column O2 to O30. Don't forget my data stops as 30, and sometimes if data keeps on coming, you just put an O like we said the other time, so that it captures new data. Let's see what this gives us. Now, any one that says yes here, that is what I want to be filtered here. So I'm filtering using this cell, but I will say equals yes. Don't forget, anytime you type a yes, you must close it up. Okay. Now, this formula is telling me that I have up to 30 here. I must have up to 30 here. And that's fine. So I'll just say O2 to O30. Good. So I want to filter E to H column by another column entirely where the value there says yes. Then I click enter and see what it has given me. It has given me values of the 4 columns where those people said yes here. So everywhere I have yes here, I've filtered it here. This helps us to drill down data to find the data you need. All these functions come in handy when your data is very large and you are trying to filter for only the things that you want. Only the things that you want. So the filter function, I prescribe the range, use another column entirely, and say anywhere I have a yes, give me the data. And these are the people that said yes. So I can see the country they came from, their product, and all of that. So the same way, I can say, I want to see the data of anybody that says no. It changes it to all that says no. And that's how the filter function works. The array formula. The array formula, what it does is it returns an array of cells or range that you prescribe for it to do. So let's do this quick. Equals array function. Array formula is there. If you just click it, it gives you. So where do you want to, where's your range that you want to return here? I can just say, okay, give me all the data in column F and G. Let me start from F2. I don't want to include the title. So just specify any range you want and just click enter. It drops that range for you in and the number of columns that you specify. You can see I specified 2 columns from F2 to G30. So these are all the data in F2 to G30. Remember we used the array formula last time. So that's what that does. So I might want to drill down a small portion of a large data in a new sheet. Array formula does it for me. Just the way it helps us to get our data into this sheet last time. That's array formula. Now unique. We used it last time. And what does unique function, what does it do? It does what its name says. It returns unique values in the range that you have specified. Let's see how it works. Let me type unique. What range? I might want to look at, in this data, I have so many entries of so many countries. I might want to see where are all the countries from. I've seen Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. I just need one Nigeria, one Canada, and one of all of that, just the unique value. So I'll click on the first cell, hold down Control and Shift, and I'll click down arrow to select immediately, or you can drag if you want to. And that's all unique needs. When you see a formula with these angle brackets, these options, these arguments are optional. So I don't need it for this formula. I'll just click enter. And it has sorted and brought out all the unique values in that column that I specify. The distinct values. And that's what that does for us. Okay, let's go to the next. We've talked about sorts. Let's go to COUNTIF. We used this the last time. What does COUNTIF do? It helps us count a series of values based on a criteria. So I might want to count, let's type COUNTIF. Some of us are already using COUNTIF. And if you remember, I said there is COUNTIF, there is COUNTIFS, and I suggested emphatically that always use COUNTIFS because COUNTIFS works with one criteria and more. COUNTIF works with only one criteria, so I'm just choose COUNTIFS. COUNTIFS has some criteria. First, the criteria range. What is your criteria range and what do you want it to do? Now let's specify our criteria range here. Let's say this is my, let me choose any colon here. Okay, let me choose the products colon. This is my criteria range, and this, put a comma. Criterion. I have selected a range. What should it count in that range? I want it to count. You can see that I've selected my product range. I want it to count only the cell that contains quiz maker app. Then I can put it in the formula. I type quiz, just the way it is. If any letter changes, it won't pick. And I put on quotation. Don't forget, whenever you are typing a text in a formula, you must put it in a quotation mark. I have just one criteria. I just want you to tell me how many person chose quiz maker app. Then I close my bracket. That's the only condition I have. And it has given me here 7. So it's giving me, do I want to do the same thing down? I don't need to. So I just want to show you how it works. So in my range, only 7 people chose quiz maker app. That's how COUNTIF works. Count if the condition is that quiz maker. All right, SUMIF is somewhat related. Sum a range based on a criteria. And you know it is sum, it can only work on columns that have numbers. Otherwise, there's nothing to sum. So like I said, instead of SUMIF, I'll choose SUMIFS. So sum range, what range do I want it to sum? Let me sum up all my, let me go to where I have, okay, my monthly income. Let me select that, I2 to I30. This is my sum range. Then put a comma. So what criteria range? What is the range of the criteria that I want to use? I want to sum the average monthly transaction of anyone that chose, let's say, Quizmaker app. So where's the range Quizmaker app is? So I come to range F2 to F30 colon F30. That's where my criteria is. So what's my criterion in that criteria? Then I put Quizmaker. Quizmaker app. Close your quotation mark. And see, this is the next criterion is in angle brackets. I don't need it. I can close it. So let me explain again. You highlight your range that you want to sum. I want to sum my average transaction range here. That's range I. By which criteria? By the criteria of F, by the product. But what product do you want to sum? I want you to sum anyone that chose Quizmaker app. Sum up, add up all their transaction. That's what I want. So when I click enter, it gives it to me. And it's telling me, do I want to do it for all the columns? If I want to, I can click this, but I don't want to, I will cancel it. So this is the sum, the transaction sum of everyone that chose what? Quizmaker app. Now, quickly, I want to show you how to format this to currency. You know, we are talking money here, but this does not look like money. How do I do that? Go to your Format tab, click on the tab, scroll down to where you have number. This means number format. There are quite a number of formatting you can apply here. We have number, percent, scientific, accounting, financial, currency, date, time, and so many. So it's currency I want. Click on currency. But this might not be the currency of my country. So what do I use? What do I do? Go back to the format. Number, follow the arrow. Now scroll down and see custom currency. Here you can select any currency in the world. Permit me to select Nigeria Naira. So it has put it here. I'll just click on apply. It has changed it to Naira. That's how to change the currency of your country or any country you are working on. And that's that. AVERAGEIFS work almost the same way, but it does the average instead of the sum. So I'll be fast with this. Everything is the same like that. I will probably, okay, to make it faster, let me copy this cell, paste it here, and just change this to average because they do the same thing. But in this case, they will find the average instead of the sum. It's asking me, do I want to, it's generating everything for me. I said, don't worry, I want just for this, and this is just average. So this is the average amount. Let me change this to currency again, format, number. So because I've selected Naira, Naira is there already. So it has done that for me. This is the average amount. Now, count unique is the next function we talk about. It does exactly what it says. It counts the unique values in a group of data. Count unique. Someone I want to ask, why are we working on this? These are data analysis function. Count unique. So what are the values you want to count? Let me just say count all the unique values here and tell me how many they are. Tell me how many they are. So that's just it. Count all the unique values in P2 to P30. What do I have in P2 to P30? Where I have my applications. So the number of unique applications that were there is 6. So there are 6 different applications. They just got repeated by different users. And that's all about count unique. Now let's go to sum and average. We know what sum does. Sum adds up. Average finds the average. So I can just type in SUM. What do I want it to sum for me? If I want to find the sum of these two, I'll just click the 2 and drag and close my bracket, enter. It gives me the sum. And average does the same thing. Say I want to find the average of these two. Same thing. It gives me the average of the selected cell. Don't forget, sum average works on cells and columns that have numbers in them. So if you are still with me, can you just type yes in the chat room? Yes, there's still be time for us to ask some questions. Awesome, awesome. Good job typing yes. Okay, let's go. Now, I've put some math operations here, and I want to explain this. In Google Sheets and Excel and all spreadsheets, divide is /. If you want to do multiplication, it's an asterisk that you put. Add, you put the plus sign. Subtract, you put the minus sign. So if I want to do something like 40 divided by 8, I will use the / to do my division, and that's 5. For multiplication, let me change it to times. Because there's no times, it's asterisk. Asterisk is you hold shift and 8 is on top of 8 on my own laptop. It could be anywhere on your own gadget, but just know it's asterisk. And the same thing for add, use plus and minus. Now, percentages. How do we do percentages? Percentages is just fractions expressed to 100. So let me, every formula start with equal to. Let me see the percentage of average value here divided by this. If I divide the 28,000 by 200,000, I want to find the percentage. If I click enter, it gives me in decimal, but I want fraction. I want percentage. To change to percentage, you go to these tabs here. You will see currency, you see format as percent. This is percentage sign. Or you go to format, number format, you will see percentage, percent here. So you click on percent. It has changed it to percent. So that's how to do percentages. Let's go to the next. I want to talk about trim and LEN. Trim is a handful function by all analysts. When you import data from another system, there's tendency that the data is not cleaned. I'll tell you what unclean data is now. Let's see. You can see we have the same values here, prime, prime, prime. It looks like the three are the same. But I want to use the LEN formula to check something. What does the LEN formula, what does it do? LEN formula counts the number of characters in a cell. It counts the number of characters, or you want to call it the length of a string. It's showing it here. The length of a string. The number of characters in a cell. So let me find the number of characters in this cell. Click enter. 5 characters. PRIME, 5, right? Let me do the same here. 6. Let me drag it down. 10. How come the same PRIM giving me different length? That is where trim function comes in. This prime here, if I go to the formula tab and click inside, you can see that the cursor is blinking at this point. There is a space between the last letter and where the cursor is blinking. And a space in spreadsheet is a character. So if I want to use a formula to pull all primes, it will not pull this prime because this is not prime anymore. It is prime space. So you can have an inaccurate analysis if you don't clean your data. And we'll use trim to clean this data now. Now let's go to the next prime that is giving us 10 characters. Click inside the formula bar. Wow, see a whole lot of space after the E and a whole lot of space before the prime. So if I am looking for, I'm using, let's say VLOOKUP or something to look for prime, it will not pick these two. And that will give me an accurate result. So that's where trim comes in. How does trim help us? If I type trim, And look at the definition of trim. Trim removes space characters. So if you download any data from any ERP or any website, always trim the data so that it removes excess characters. So if I click trim and I click this cell and I say enter, then I find it okay, or I just apply trim here. Then if I find the length now, length is now 5. And if I do the same for this, let's change to 4, AH4, it's still 5. It has trimmed and removed all the excess space from here. So the best thing to do is create a new column with trim, and do this. Bring the formula down. Now, if I was analyzing, I'll then remove this column completely and use this one. This is trimmed and clean. That's how trim works. Now, VLOOKUP. What does VLOOKUP do? The meaning of VLOOKUP means vertical lookup. It helps us to look out for a value in a range and return a particular column in that row. Don't worry, it might sound a bit clumsy now, but I'm going to break it down. Okay, first, this is first name. If I type in VLOOKUP, the meaning is vertical lookup. What does VLOOKUP do? Now, I want to look for someone, anybody's name here. Then I want to find out the product the person chose. So instead of checking one by one, VLOOKUP can hear me. So if I choose this name, I want VLOOKUP to return the product that person chose. That's what I want to do. Now, with that knowledge, let's go back to the VLOOKUP formula. Okay. VLOOKUP has how many arguments? Can you please type it in the chat room? How many arguments does VLOOKUP needs to function? Someone said 3. Someone said 4. 4. 4. Now we'll check now. Thank you for your response. Look at this. Search key 1, range 2, index 3, is sorted 4. So this could be optional. That's why it's put in that bracket, but it's 4. Now, what is the search key? Like I said, I want to be able to type someone's first name here, and I want to see what that person's last name is, country name is, and rating is. So I will make this cell my lookup or search item or search key. So I want to look up for someone's first name. I want to see what that person chose as his country or rating or whatever. Now, what range? Don't forget, I want to use first name to search. That means I will be using the column of first name. I can increase my range to H. So what I want to do is, if I type in Caleb and I say give me product Caleb chose. I want to have it as quiz maker. If I type joy and say give me the quality that that person chose, I want to see fair. If I type Idris and I say please give me what that person chose as satisfaction, I want to see 5. So this is my range. VLOOKUP has some restriction. Number 1, your lookup value must be in the first column of your range. And as you can see, I've selected range C to H. I intentionally selected C first because that is where my lookup value is. If your lookup value is not your first value, VLOOKUP function will not work. So your lookup value must be your leftmost highlighted column in the range. Okay, with that said, I've chosen what I want to look for, the range. You can see that I selected all the range there. You can do that. Then comma, let me click this question mark to see what it's saying. Index. Now index is saying, okay, you want to look for first name. What should I return for you? Index means what is the column number of the data you want to return. My range is C to H. That means C is my column 1, D is column 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's the way we'll number it. If I want to return what that person chose as product, what column is the product? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll type in 4 here. So question, if I want to see what rating that person gave me, what number am I going to type here? Quickly put your answer in this chat room. If I want to see satisfaction rating, what number? Good, 6, 6, 6. Thank you. Because it's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th column. So let me put the 4. And that is my third argument. But this guy still has another argument. Now, it's putting that argument in an angle bracket because if you don't put anything, it will assume that you are looking for a match that is accurate. We have approximate and we have exact. We talk about approximate when we are talking about different numbers with decimals and all of that. But this one, I want you to return the exact value that is showing there. So exact value is a true. Let me do this drop down and let's read. This is an example of a value, range, column, false. What does false mean? If you scroll down, you can read more about it. False means exact match. Return the exact match. It could be false or you can put 0. False means exact match. True means approximate match. So I want an exact match, which is false. Or false can also be represented as 0. And if you don't put anything, the default setting is false. If I close my bracket and I click on enter, now it has given me the favorite product because that is the value from here. I started from first name. That is my 4th value showing. And because I typed in first name, it returned the corresponding 4th value, which is what? Favorite product. Now I want to type this name, and it must give me general school grading. Let me go and type in that name there. Let me change it to that name showing there. That means it's telling me there's no name like this. That's why it's showing no value available. Now let's go and check something. But there's a value like that here. Let me click inside the cell, and you will see why it is good to clean your data. If I click in the formula bar, what can you notice? Please share in the chat room. What can you notice? Why did this not return a correct value? There's a space. There's a space. So it is not seeing the name. It is seeing the name plus a space. Thank you for your response. That's why cleaning your data is the number one thing you do as an analyst when you get your data in, whether from forms like we have done or from external sources. Otherwise, your analysis will have problem. So let's see what happens. Let me remove the space here now and click enter. Okay. Because this value is being pulled from another source, I will not be able to edit it. But I can edit my formula. So I will intentionally put a space in front of the name, and you'll see that it will have a value for it. So do we understand that logic? I couldn't edit here because the data is being pulled by just this single formula here. If you were with us just last time, you would know. So that's how VLOOKUP works. And if I want it to give me the rating, I will change this 4 to 6 and click enter. That's the rating, which is 3. If I want it to give me the person's, is it the other name? Yes, that's 2. It will give me the person's other name. That's how VLOOKUP works. It returns the corresponding value on that same row that you specify. We will see more of this and its functionality in our subsequent work. Let's go to the next one. SUMPRODUCT. What this does is pretty straightforward. It does sum, it multiplies 2 columns together and add up the answer. It multiplies 2 columns together, add up the answers, and gives you the sum of the products. Okay, let's look for 2 arrays or range that has numbers. H and I should have number. Okay. I don't want to include the header, so I'll just do this down. So that's simply that. What it has done, let me explain. H and I. What SUMPRODUCT does is it will pick up this value, this first value, multiply it by this, store it in its memory. This one multiply by this one multiply by this one multiply by this multiply by this multiply by this, up to the last range cell you specified. Then it will now add up everything together and gives you the value. Can you see that this is a time saver, lifesaver function? It multiplies the corresponding cells and add up everything and gives you this straight answer. You know, we can do this the manual way, you know, adding and multiplying one by one. SUMPRODUCT gives you straight away. All right, the next one, concatenate. What this does is simply it joins two things, two cells you specify together. Is a joiner. Concatenate, let me type concatenate. Concatenate. How many arguments? As many as possible. You can join cells together, it will put it together. Now let me do this. Concatenate string 1. Let my string 1 be this, and my string comma, string 2 be this. Close the bracket and type enter. You can see that it has joined the two together. And automatically there's a space there because there's a space here. Otherwise, let me do this. Now there's no space here. Let me remove the space here and do the concatenate for this one. You can see in my answer, there's no space. But I can specify that concatenate should put a space there, because normally if you have claimed your data, there won't be a space. But I can tell it after the first cell is selected, I will say put a space for me. How do I specify space in formula? I'll type quotation mark, space, another quotation mark. Then you put your comma. So I've told it, pick first cell, put a space, pick the second cell, enter. And it gives me the correct value. So for instance, if I have this here and I pull it down, you can see last name, it will join the two together and put a space because I said you should put a space. That's how concatenate work. And lastly, we'll talk about split here. Split does the opposite of concatenate. It splits data for you. Maybe you did your form and they wrote their names together. You want to split it, just do equal split and click in the cell. Now for split, it says what is the delimiter. Delimiter means what is the separator between this, and it's a space, right? So I can tell it, okay, I have a space in between. That's my delimiter. Enter. Split it into two cells for me automatically. So I typed in one cell, it splits it into the second cell for me. So it splits what concatenates joins. And that's how it works. All right, these are the functions we have been able to look through in today's lesson. If, sort, filter, array formula, unique, up to, okay, there's one, import range. Import range. Import range is a formula that is used to bring data from another spreadsheet entirely. Okay, we will talk more on this next time. But let's go to the summary tab. Don't forget that I said your project 2 will be to create a summary tab and you provide responses to all this. Let me do this very quickly using the formulas that we have learned and the functions we have learned. And if you still have any question, any inquiry, you can always get to us on the group chat. Okay, what should we do? Create a summary page. We have done. Listen to this part because this is what you will be doing as your project 2. I have created my summary tab. Use data validation to pull all the countries in a cell. So in this cell, I want to use data validation to pull all the countries there. Don't forget data validation, like I explained the last time, I want all the countries to come here. So I go to data. I come to under data, there's data validation. Click on data validation. Now, the range I want the data validation to be is on summary D2 that I've selected. Now, there are criteria. You might want to get your list from a range or list from items. If I choose items, then look at what you wrote here. Enter items separated by a comma. Let's say, for instance, I want a yes or no to be in that cell. If I will type a yes, comma, no. So when you choose list of items, you actually type the items. Then what does this say? Show drop down in the cell. Yes, that's what we want. On invalid data, show warning. If someone types anything other than this, it shows a warning sign. It puts a red dot for you to know that, oh, you have inputted something wrong. But you can also reject the input by selecting this. By telling the person, anytime the person types anything other than yes or no, it says, no, you can't type this here. It doesn't take it. So with that, we can leave this. If I click save, you can see it has put a drop down, and in the drop down, I have a yes or no. That's how to use lists that you type manually. You separate all your list with comma. Let me type in something else. It should be able to take my name now. Okay. There was a problem. The data you entered in D2 violates the law. You can only type yes and no. So why is it bringing this? Because I said reject any other response other than yes or no. Now let's go back to the data validation and see other options that we have. Data validation. Another option is from a range. We also have number. If you click number, you specify the numbers that you want to be put in those cells. Anything outside that, it will reject. Text, what kind of text? Anything outside that will be rejected. I like this. Custom, you can define what you want. If you want only date to be there, you click this. You can put tick box so that let me quickly do this. Okay, you can specify tick box. You can use a custom cell and what have you. But for this assignment, we are going to list from a range, because there is a range where we have all our countries. Then I will now specify the range here. So how do I specify the range? I'll click this, then go to my data tab and select the column that has my countries. And that's E2, from E2 to the end. So I'll just put colon E. Why I just put E is I can add more data to it. And I'll just click on OK. So reject any input, save. Now let's see what's there now. It has put the list of all the countries. Isn't that awesome? So I have answered question 1. All right. I've used data validation to put in the countries here. Now, what's the second thing? List with reference to the data validation cell. Let me put a yellow here. Or let me just select any country. Ready. With reference to the data validation cell, list the favorite products. So, what are the favorite products? given this country. So what am I trying to find out? The products that these countries, the people that chose this country, the product they liked. What function can help me pull all the products that they like? Can someone share with me in the chat room as we are rounding up? Among all the functions we have learned today, which one will help me pull all the products that everybody that chose Nigeria liked? Someone said sort function. Okay, let's remember what sorts do. Sorts, well, like the name sounds, it sorts our data based on a criteria. So I want to pull all the products that Nigeria has as their favorite product. Any other person? Okay, to make this faster, and I've also added a tip for you. We are going to use the filter function to pull the favorite product in relation to the data validation cell. And what does the filter function do? It filters all the products that relate to Nigeria. Let's see how that works. So I can type equals filter. Filter talks about a range. Now, we are talking about favorite products. So I'll go to where my products, favorite products are. What column is that? Here. As F2 to, let me just say F. This is my range. So what's the condition? It must be Nigeria. So where's the column for Nigeria? This is the column for Nigeria. So I'll choose E2 to E. And which country should it choose? E to E must equal to whatever country that is here. Don't forget, we are referencing this cell. That's the beauty of this assignment. So instead of typing Nigeria, I'll click this cell. So anytime I change the value in this cell, the answer changes to fit into the new value. Let's see what this gives us. What's our data again? These are our range and our E2 E2 to E must be equal to D2. Now, what do we want it to return? We want it to return the product, and the product is in F. What should it consider? Where there are countries and countries in E. Which country should it consider? Any country that is chosen here, that's D2. You can always use this to help check if you are on point with your selection. So when you click enter, what do we have? It has listed all the products that this country that belongs to this country. Now let's see. If I click the drop down arrow and I choose another country, it changes to all the selection of that country. If I choose another, it changes. It changes like that. In short, that's our objective. That's why you can see that it says all question 2 to 12 must reference this D2, your data validation cell, so that when we change the country, it changes the data. What are we trying to do? We are making our summary very interactive. When we submit this to our probably vice president, that vice president say, okay, let's see what's happening in Eritrea country, and everything pulls up for that country. So we have done number 2. If you understood this, just type yes. And don't forget, you always have a replay of this so that you can use it for your own. Now, number 2, list of distinct products. What we have done here, let me choose Nigeria because it has more products. We have listed all the products. But number 3 is saying, can we have just the unique products? Distinct means unique. So someone wants to type, what function is that? In short, I have said the answer, unique. If I type unique, which range? Since I have pulled all the data here, I can use this range. And since it will keep changing, I can just use D5 to D. To D means to anywhere it ends. Close the bracket, type in enter. So if I choose another country, these are the unique ones. These are the unique ones. For Nigeria, though they have so many products, I mean, they have so many lists, but only 5 were unique. So this is the products. This is my unique products. Unique products. Good. The next one we have done. Now, for each product listed in 3, show the count. What do we use to show the count here? Can you type in the chat room? COUNTIF, thank you. Awesome. So what I will just do is equals COUNTIF. I said you should always be using ifs. So where's the criteria range? So where's my criteria range? This one is giving us unique, but this is the one giving us all the counts. So this is the one I'm selecting. Don't forget, I don't know the end, so I'll just do D5 to D. So criterion. So count here to check the number of this that is there. That's my criteria. So it gives me 6. Now watch. I can drag the formula down to give me the other ones. But check something. This is referencing D5 to D. When I come to the next one, it changes to D, but my count starts from D5. Then when it gets here, it has changed to D9 because I pull down. Look at where D9 is. That means we'll not be considering the ones up here. That's where absolute referencing comes in. I don't want it to change from D5 as I pull down because it must always start from D5. So in front of my D, I want to lock D. I'll put the dollar sign. The dollar sign is a locker in Google Sheets and Excel. So as I put dollar in front of D, when I drag down the formula, at every point, okay, a dollar in front of the D and a dollar in front of the 5. Sorry. So I will lock D and 5 so that if I pull it down, at every point, I'm starting from D5. And when you put dollar to lock, D is a column, and the number is the row. You are doing absolute reference. When you don't put those dollar, it's called relative. I want it to always start from here. Good. And I've gotten the counts for this. But let's see what happens if I do Canada. I have 0 here. Let's see if I do Andorra. I have 0, 0 here. So how can I cater for that? And if my value is so long, how do I know where to stop this formula? So intentionally, I will drag this formula long because I don't know how long it will get to. But I'm not okay with all this 0, 0, 0. We can remove it and tell Excel, I want to use if function. I want to tell Excel, if the answer to this instruction is 0, put nothing. Otherwise, put the correct option. Because I don't want this 0. So I will say if. I'll put if in front of this formula. If bracket, if whatever this one amounts to is equal to 0, space, comma, put empty cell. Don't forget how to represent empty cell, like I said, quotation with another quotation, a formula, a comma. So if it is 0, put nothing. Otherwise, what should you put? Put whatever this answer is. I'll just copy it and put it. And I'll close the bracket for if. Enter. Still the same thing. But watch now. When I drag it down, because I don't know where this will end, it has removed all the zeros, but the formulas are there. So I've told it, please, if this gives a 0, put nothing. Otherwise, put the correct answer. All right, I have pulled the count. But for you, you might not go through this route. You might like the 0, 0 showing. That's no problem. You are still correct. So we've done for the count. Now, the total country's response. Okay. The total country's response. Total response. How do I get that? All the responses. All the responses, the total. What formula am I going to use? Anybody wants to share? I'll just do COUNTIFS. I'll count all the responses given it is Nigeria. So I've put it here, COUNTIFS function. So here, I want to count all the responses given it's Nigeria. COUNTIFS, and go to my data, come to E2 to E, or the end of your data, then put a comma. So what my criteria now? Instead of typing any name of country, I will put this D2. Don't forget, we are referencing this D2. And I close it. So we have 19 responses. Let me centralize this. That chose Nigeria. If I change this to another country, it's just 4. If I change this, it's just 1. In short, another way, instead of going to the data tab, you can just count from here, starting from here down. So I can just change this to E. No, this is D now. I can change this to D. E5 to D. Reason why I'm putting D is because it keeps changing. So D means to the last one. Then, comma, what's my criteria? D2. Enter. Okay. Now, what happens? I'm counting the apps here, not the country. So I should use the country because this is showing country, and country is on data tab. Yeah, I should use the country. Okay, that's that about this. Average rating. I want to find the average rating. Average rating for all the countries that chose Nigeria. All the respondents that chose Nigeria. So what function am I using for average rating? I've given us a tip here too. Average if, as the name sounds. So I just go to equal to average ifs and average range. Where is the range? Go to your data tab. This is the range where you have the rating. Select, comma, come back to your summary page. When you click inside the formula bar, you see the next thing to do. Criteria range 1. So I'm looking for average rating for all Nigerians, right? So I go to where my criteria range is, where I have the countries. So I select the range of the countries. Oh. So where do I have the range of the countries? Is E, right? So come back here. Let me just copy this and change the H to E. Remember why it's having data exclamation? Because that's the name of the tab. So I'll just change this to E. I'm telling you all the countries are in EO, but that's my range. So what is the criteria I'm looking for here? I'm looking for any country that is this. Don't forget the movement. Average range, which is the rating. That is the range of my rating. Range of my countries. And which country are we looking for? Instead of typing the countries, I select this cell. You know, we are referencing this cell. So I'll just type enter. So this is the average rating of all respondents that chose Nigeria. Let's select another country. It has changed. It has changed. It has changed. Everything is changing because they are all referencing this cell. So I can do some formatting. I want to remove this excess decimal by clicking this 0.00000. If you are done, okay. All right, that's average rating. List the qualities of products. Use unique function lists to list the qualities. So quality, okay. You continue like this and you list all of this. I have done that. So let me unhide where I've done all of this so we can just go through it and move very fast because our time is fast spent. Unhide. And when you are done doing all of this, you should arrange your values creatively like I have done here. Here is where I put all my question 1, which is what? No, my question 2, list the favorite product. I put my data validation reference here. Just design it your own way and make it creatively beautiful. Arrange it in a way that the person you are presenting it to will appreciate it. So I have put all the products here, the unique products, the count, that is the count here, the total count of the response that we just got here, the count of the response is here, the average rating that we just did. So now the quality of products. How do we get the quality of products? We use unique to get all the data in G2. What are the data in G2? That's where we have our quality of products. So you are doing this on your own response sheet. So you are continuing by just creating a tab. Then you do the quality of products. Unique, we only bring the values, even if they repeated a million times. So the next one will be count of this unique. So we do the same thing. COUNTIFS. You get your data from G. That's quality of the product. And you get your country data. Don't forget that COUNTIFS, we ask for criteria range, then the criterion. So what's the criterion now? W4, which is what is here. Comma, we must always reference our data validation sheet. So we now put comma, second criteria. We now talk about countries, which is in what? Data tab E2 to E, comma, you click your UI, because here now UI is my data validation tab. So when you click enter, it gives you the count. And all you do is drag your formula down. And you have done for this. For transaction is on I2, SUMIFS. Anytime you hear total is sum. So we use SUMIFS here. Data I2 to I2, it is I2 to I means to anywhere it ends. Then what is the condition I'm summing up for? I'm summing up for countries in E2 to E, that is whatever that is here. That's why I have this as E2, comma, UI. You can see that I locked my UI. So everything is referencing here. So if I change to any country, all the values change, including the graphs, everything. They all change. All the values change. All right. The next question will be list of favorite departments. The same way, COUNTIFS, favorite department. COUNTIFS, unique rather, we bring out the favorite department. What column is favorite department? J. So it brings that there. Then we now use COUNTIFS to do the count. Exactly what you did here. You can just copy this and put it here and just change this from G to J, because these ones are in column G, these ones are in column J. Then what have I done next? I created graph for the favorite products, graph for each of these one answer responses. And remember I said always use scorecard for one answer responses. I used a pie chart for the quality of product, and I use a bar here for favorite department. Then I did something. Okay, I think it's okay here to bring all this here. And if you have any question on how to carry out this task, feel free to join. Yes, you won. Correct. Thank you. Feel free to join the group where you can always ask any question, and I'll be glad to respond to you. Now I've displayed some data on your screen. If you scroll down, you will see the second tab says join our group of data analysts to learn more about the spreadsheet and other data analytic tools. So that's a WhatsApp group. If you have any question on how to go about this, or you are struggling with anyone, ask on that group. There's someone that will help you out. But give it a shot. Pull all this together and arrange your data beautifully using any creative style you want to use. You are not limited to what I'm showing you. The questions use conditional formatting. Okay, let me do this conditional formatting for this. You can see that the highest one is colored pink. How did I do that? Let me change the country. You see it's shifted to this one. It's always highlighting the value that is the highest. That was conditional formatting I used. So how do you do that? Let me show you. Select your range that you want that to show. I want it to show from here to here. And go to Format, Conditional Formatting. Because I've done it before, it is here. So what did I do? I chose here, use a custom formula. I didn't choose what was here. Use a custom formula. And what's my formula? My formula is, don't forget, all formulas start with equal to. Equals x9. I locked the x9 to x. So whatever it is, whatever value is here, that is equal to V10. I locked that too. What is my V10? This is my V10. I have done something here. And what is that? I've used the max formula. Max formula brings the maximum value in a range. Shows the maximum value in a range. So I've asked Max to tell me the maximum value from x10 to x to whatever this is, and put it here for me. So it will always bring the maximum values here. So if I change to Nigeria, what's the max here? 5. I've used max formula to bring the maximum value here. So I'm now referencing that cell. That for this range that I've chosen o. If any value between x9 to everything underneath is equal to V10, which is the max value, color it pink. So I came here to change to pink. You can do anything. You can do a blue. You can do whatever. Because I want it to flow with my theme, which is red, I chose pink. And that's how that is. So subsequently, if you try this first time, you're not getting it, try it again. Come to the group, ask question. I will streamline it for you. So for now, that is the end of our training today. Take your time to go over it again and present your data in a very creative way so that we can present this to the vice president and tell the vice president by next week we will now take decisions based on all this data that we have found out from our responses from our clients. So next week we will be talking about pivot table. We use pivot table to create some wonderful streamlining analysis, and we'll now create a working interactive dashboards, and we will link how to present to some other products, and then we will be rounding off this wonderful course of Google Sheets Masterclass. The discussion continues on the group. If you're still not clear with one or two things, come to the group. But what? Try it out first and give this formulas and functions a go-to again. Ask questions, sort, what does it do, filter, and all of this. Take the learning beyond here and you'll be glad you did. So the next 5 minutes, feel free to ask your question. You can use the Slido platform or ask on the group. All right. If you want to get the question to this project, just click below your screen project 1 and 2. Project question. You can see project 1 question. If you have not done that, you can quickly do that. So project 2, I have put all the details here. I've also put a link here to learn more about functions that are in Google Sheets. And most especially, the discussion continues on the group. So I'm going to share this on the group now. When you click that, you have access to the question. Please signify if you can see the link to the questions that we'll be working for as our project 2. I can see. Oh, good. I will also share this on the group again for those of us that are on the group. And if you are not there, you can always join. Go. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And here we wrap it up today, and let the discussion continues afterwards. My name remains Benga Adeoye. I'm your facilitator for this wonderful Google Sheet Masterclass. This is Module 2. Module 3 is coming up with a bang. Make sure you don't miss it. When is it coming up? 23rd of April. And that will be our certification training, where we'll be creating dashboards using pivot table and doing so much with little effort. You will be glad you joined. Thank you and have a wonderful day.